Look, and we're nearly at 200 episodes here, Michael.
Yeah, and we are live today, and we have our very palindromic Travis I. Sivart here today with. I'm going to insult some of the longtime listeners, but he has the coolest mustache that we have had on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I
the
can
beard
send it
mustache
to you if you
combo,
want.
we are going to talk about that in a minute. But right now, I'm looking up. So,
Well, tell me what you like to read, and I'll tell you which one of my books is for you.
well, maybe Mike, we could spend the first, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes just having Travis go through the titles of all of his books.
There are them all
chronologically or alphabetically? 44.
44.
Under 5 different pen names, including most of them are under Travis Sivart. But
so
yeah.
You are 2/3 of the way to a Bible.
I've always wondered about making one of those. So
you are on your way, man. You're almost there. You're crushing it. You're in the New Testament already. You must be.
Well, Jesus Christ, look at that.
The New Testament according to Travis.
More like the new temper tantrum according to Travis.
Yeah, that's more with the times.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of your books. You don't have to tell us all 44.
Here's what I'll do.
That's at the end. That's a quiz.
Yeah, I won't even get them all right. Cheapers. I love to write, and I love to connect my worlds. So every time I write a steampunk novel, it's been attached to the cyberpunk, to the fantasy world through a loose thread. There's one character named Jack Tucker that can travel through time, though he doesn't believe time is a scientific constant. And the latest books that I just published, the omnibus, because that was the plan with the latest books I put out. It's called The Traveler's Inn, and it's 4 short books, but when you put them all together, as I did in just one book there, and it's got a bit of a heft to it, it creates this beautiful story arc where the first quarter is in a fantasy world, the second quarter is in a Weird West steampunk world, the third part cyberpunk, and then the fourth one is just a whole head fuck as you realize everything is coming together, and the thing that's been hinted at through the other 3 books has now come to a head to try to take over this dimension hopping, reality traveling, time skipping tavern and inn.
Okay, so I have a question for you, because I am bad with genres. When people are like, what genre is I'm like, I don't know, sci-fi?
Yeah.
So tell me the difference between cyberpunk and steampunk.
Okay. Steampunk is, and I'm going to use a couple big words that once you think them through, they make sense. But when you first hear them, you're like, wow, that's a mouthful. I don't know what it means. Steampunk is retrofuturism.
Okay.
So if you think of, have you seen the movie League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or Van Helsing?
God, have you seen it, Mike?
I have. And Van Helsing.
Holy shit.
They're older movies. I've seen them. Anything
There
after 2000 is very unlikely. But
wow. You're killing this, Travis. You've hit on 2 movies Mike has seen.
There we go. I will not mention any more movies because I think I've tapped out on that. But steampunk, you're looking at a Victorian feel, a lot of brass and cogs. There we go, as Mr. Montague there says. Whereas cyberpunk is, you ever seen Johnny Mnemonic? That was 90s. Keanu Reeves.
I have not.
He's got a whole 5 gigs of memory in his brain, and it's going to explode his head. It also has iced tea in it as a junkyard warrior. But anyhow, cyberpunk is futuristic. Think Blade Runner, except hopefully less boring. No offense to anybody viewing, but Blade Runner just drags so much for me. You guys don't know Blade Runner?
I've never seen Blade Runner. We went, this is a topic we touched on.
Get the Cliff Notes. Get the Cliff Notes. They're beautiful movies, but both of them, the original from the mid to late 80s and the one that just came out 2-3 years ago, They're very atmospheric.
Yeah.
There's a nice way of saying a little slow. But so yeah, future versus past, but both have a sci-fi blend into them. To summarize, Mike.
Okay.
I
So-
want to, Mike, I'm sorry, because I think your brother brought it up. So I have on my little question list, who are the three people that people say you look like the most based on the mustache beard combination?
So easy. Colonel Sanders, Pringles guy, and the Monopoly man, Mr. Moneybags.
Yeah, yeah. I would like, okay, and so Mike's brother Dan here in the comments mentioned Raleigh Fingers.
Uh-huh. Blues
And
player, isn't he?
I would like to throw Reginald Hargraves in there
Oh, well, there you
from
go.
the Academy.
I really like what you guys are saying better than what other people say, but pop culture is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
And
Raleigh Fingers was a pitcher in baseball, by the way.
The
he
Brewers, right?
sounds like a blues harmonica player, and I'm just going to stick with my reality on this one because
Okay.
I don't do a lot of bass. Total nerd. Like,
We don't need to intrude on your reality. That's fine.
and I forgot who just posted the thing. No, Blade Runner is absolute art, and sometimes art gets a little boring. You really got to be in the mood and the mindset for it. But no, Blade Runner is beautiful, as I said, but it moves slow.
Wasn't that Tina Turner's acting debut?
No, that would be Mad
Oh.
Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Oh yeah, the 6 and 1/2 dozen brother. I haven't seen that either.
Which that would be salvage punk.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, they have gotten ridiculous with it. Like they had a couple good punk stuff, this punk, that punk, and now they're like, well, what about dream punk? What about, I don't know, booger punk? They just put anything in front of punk and call it a genre now, and I'm like, oh, stop it.
Yeah. So 44 books.
Mm.
And if you don't mind me asking, you're how old?
I am 53. I had to do the math real quick.
Okay, so you started then you started when you were 5.
I started making stories when I was 5 and putting them in a notebook in my teens, and didn't start publishing till 11 years ago. Now, I published in other people's books for the previous 10 years before that, but publishing on my own books 11 years ago is when I started. 2013, 2014.
That's a pretty good clip of books. I mean, did you have a bunch that were ready to go or something, or?
No, I had one that was ready to go, and I didn't actually publish it till 2016. It was one of those things. My first book I published was a collection of short stories that I had published in other people's anthologies, and I put them into a collection, and that was my very first book. But then my second book, it started being out. Dan, it's a secret, and for the small price of 3 payments of $19.99.
That's right.
No, it's actually it's a demonically possessed mustache. It just makes me look younger. That's all.
There's a picture of him somewhere else in his house.
Of my mustache?
I don't know. It's your picture, man. I'm not here to tell you what's what.
Whose house are you in there, Ro?
So,
Anyhow, what was I saying? What were you saying?
I'm just going to say we're at 9 minutes, and EL has not asked to see the covers of your books yet, so he clearly is busy doing something else.
He's busy, yeah. But he's made himself known, so that's all right.
Yeah.
And Tim, sorry you can't stay. Glad you popped in. Thank you very much. You were telling us about how you managed to write 44 books in 11 years.
Okay. I write about 2,000 words a day. So if you do a 60,000 page novel, or not page, sorry, word. When you're writing novels, most people go, how many pages is your book? The thing about pages in your book, it doesn't matter. Because depending on your font size, your spacing, it could totally change the pages without changing how much content is in there. And a lot of people don't realize this, but we don't know to go, oh, Tolkien is 134 for his first book and 126. We don't know those numbers when we're readers. We know them when we're writers or editors or whatever. But Ro, it just came down to sitting down and do it. There was one time I was broken at work, so I was home for a couple weeks, and I didn't want to just do nothing because I wasn't out there earning money to pay bills. So in 12 days' time, I wrote a full novel.
Wow.
Now, Mike,
NaNoWriMo, forget it.
Mike, I know you write too, but that's not the editing. That's not the cleaning up. That's sitting down and putting the words down, just getting them out there, not perfecting them. So for anybody that's like, that's impressive. Well, thank you. Yes, it is. But there's all this other work that has to come when you've finished writing. So it doesn't mean the book was ready to be published. But yeah, I just write, man. The way people go watch TV shows and go, I binged 2 series this week. I'm like, I wrote a book.
Right. It is a lot, though. I mean, if you're constantly doing 2,000 words a day, that's how many books do you like? Just do one from the beginning to end, or are you involved in several right now?
Okay, I always have a list. And EL, I will get to that question if these gentlemen don't in a moment. Yeah, that is a real office behind me. That is a light. I have 3 different colors. I went with green because of the color of my shirt tonight. But yeah, I could turn on the actual light. There's all kinds of fun things in here, at least to me, including cats.
What the hell
So
is that?
that was my 13-year-old female cat. She has a private bathroom. We call it the executive washroom.
Uh-huh.
And that's her letting me know she wants in her executive washroom.
Oh, right. Well,
Yeah, either that or else it's a monster in the dark. Could be both. Could be both. Totally forgot where I was, Ro. Ro, you're good at keeping us on track. What was I?
no.
Writing
Well,
or something?
Yeah. 2,000 words a day. Do you have multiple books going at the same time?
Oh.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, I always have a list. And right now, 2024 was a bully. It kicked me, knocked me down, and kept kicking me for like all year. So I now have reevaluated what I was going to do because I was going to put out 1 book every 3 weeks last year. But in February, my computer crashed. Lost everything on that hard drive, including all the books I had been working on.
Oh.
So instead, I just published 6 books, including rewriting a few of them from nothing.
Oof.
And I was very sad.
Yeah, see, in that time that you took to rewrite 6 books, I probably would have been deciding whether or not I wanted to give up drinking that I had just started again after my computer crashed on me.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
toast you to that one there. So, yeah. It's
What's your brown liquor of choice there? Travis?
tonight, this is actually Tin Cup Rye. It's a really reasonable price point, about $30. The rye is cheaper than the other ones. It comes with a little metal cap. It is not sponsored. It's a nice, mellow, slightly sweet whiskey. Of course, rye, so mostly rye based. And they do have a bourbon and an American whiskey out there. And they're pretty bottles. If you one of those people that keep bottles for whatever reason.
I am going to suggest to you, and frequent viewers of the show have heard me talk about this a lot, and I will keep saying it until the company hears about this program and sends me a case. But J.H. Bard's, which is now a Blacksburg-based distillery, they make a maple whiskey, which is probably the most awesome thing if you like whiskey and if you like real maple syrup. It is just fantastic.
I have had maple whiskey. I don't remember if it was that brand, and here's what I'll tell you. It was excellent once. And then about 6 months later, I'm ready for a second shot.
Really?
Well, it's just so sweet. It's not necessarily to my palate. I mean, it was delicious.
Yeah, this
but
isn't that sweet.
Okay.
Must be a different company.
Yeah, it's
you can drink this by the glass. It's quite happily. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then maybe I'll have to look that one up. After the show, mention this again to me, and I'll tell you how to get them to do that.
Get who to do what?
The company to send you a bottle or two. It's something I have done previously.
Okay.
So yeah, because now while we're on this, you have or you work with aside from writing books just for the hell of it, every day. You also do a lot of podcast work. You have a podcast that's just recently hit its 500th episode.
Just recorded it last night. Now, when it'll come out, it'll actually probably be, what are we in, April, mid-May, some point.
Okay.
But yeah, I've done that, as well as had a writing podcast, a travel podcast, a tabletop role-playing game podcast, and a few others. It's one of those things. I love working with other people and having great conversations, which is why I'm here tonight, obviously. So having a podcast where you could do that on a weekly basis, it's because really, when do we have a chance to leave our house and do something?
Right.
It's kind of Dan.
So tell us about your 500 episode podcast, how long that's been going, what it's called, what you talk about.
It is called Talk of the Tavern. It's been going since 2007. Now, keep in mind, 2007, it was a different world for podcasting. You didn't have these things where you could just do it. You had to work at it, and the programs weren't out there necessarily to edit them. So it wasn't coming out as quick and as often. But by 2013, I was doing weekly episodes and doing it live. But at that time, again, you didn't have places where people could just come in and watch you live stream. So I would create a Facebook event page. They'd have to listen on a different pirate radio station online. And then they could comment in the Facebook group that we had to constantly refresh to read their comments so they could be part of the show. And then you...
No, I was just going to say, so in a couple weeks, we're going to do a show with a guy from France and a guy from New Zealand on the show, and it's, essentially free.
Nice.
So, yeah, things have changed a little.
Little bit, yeah. It's my D&D game, my Dungeons and Dragons game, once a month. We're playing with one person in Belgium, one person in the UK, another person on the West Coast, but she's originally from Belize, and then myself and my wife. The way we can actually communicate now it's delightful.
Yeah.
The downside is everybody gets to put out their shitty little opinions and act like they're important.
That's us.
Myself included. Yeah. That's why we have podcasts.
What's the topic of conversation on that then? I mean, is there like a general thing or?
Well, Talk of the Tavern is like if you went into a pub, bar, tavern, whatever, you sat down and you hear these people behind you talking about something, and you've just got to throw your 2 cents in over that little wall between the booths, and they laugh with you, yell something back, and then you go back to listening as they continue the conversation. That's Talk of the Tavern. With 500 episodes, we have covered almost everything under the sun, avoiding politics and sports as is proper when you're in a bar. Most of the time. Sometimes it creeps it. Oh, you don't know the rule of the pub? You don't talk about...
No, politics and religion, okay.
Oh, right. Sports? No, right. I'm sorry. It's the nerd in me that put the sports in there. My bad.
Hey, sports is like that's what there's bars built around that.
No, you're right. It's and those are the ones I don't go to.
And there's bars built around religion too. They just call it Catholicism.
Yeah. That's right. If you're a smoker, you should go there because they got these great brass bongs they walk around with.
Right, that's right. And you can tell it's real because they're singing and you can't understand a word.
Oh yeah. It's just
and
like the
free
60s.
Wine. And don't forget the free wine.
I want free
when
wine.
I was an altar boy,
yes.
When the priest would get up to do his sermon, me and my buddy would go in the back where he kept a bottle of wine, and we would just hit the wine a little bit and come back out.
Now they have alcohol-free wine.
Well, see, that's just pointless.
It's just grape juice, but
it's alcohol-free beer. That's like dry humping. It's like, what the hell's the point of any of that?
I get drinking for the flavor. I prefer to drink for the flavor, but yeah, you do lose some of the flavor. But even alcohol-free beer still has alcohol in it. It just has a very small amount.
Yeah. Your cat is going to die on air, isn't it?
Oh, she is. I got to put a hand down here and call her over here. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, you could.
Her.
I mean, take care of your cat. I'm a cat
Okay,
person.
I'm so sorry, guys. Talk about me while I'm
We'll just
gone.
run a little scroll on the bottom saying, "Excuse us for technical
Here's what I'll
difficulties."
do. I'll turn on the light so you guys can get a gander at the whole room here. And there you are.
That's right, Dan. Decaf coffee is another one. It's just absolutely freaking pointless.
See,
Hello,
this is
kitty.
it's my 13-year-old girl. She's all spry. She will attack the boys in the house, the male cats, not just any guy that walks in the place there. So I will go let her in there. And the fun fact, if I let her in there, she might be good for the next hour, or in like 8 minutes, she'll be like, "Let me out again. Let me out." 1 second. I'll flip on that light so you guys can see the room.
All right. Are you ready, EL?
Ooh,
there you go. Just for you.
bourbon whiskey.
Look at that. That's. Oh, wait. You got to give us time. EL. You may as well tell EL what your shirt says, too, while you're at it.
I don't know EL well enough to tell him what my shirt says about his mother. But as for the tattoos, well, we have some on this arm, which are actually symbols of some of the gods in my world, in my fantasy world that I write in. These on my arms are just, I love to travel. So that's the wanderlust. This one is more about my wife, where it says to move forward, you got to let go. These, I will not put anybody's name on my body, but I will put images that look like my wife. And this way, if she ever kicks my little scrappy ass to the curb, I still have cool. I know, that's why I couldn't talk bad about her. It's every time I've hung out with her, she's been a delight.
She wasn't always an octogenarian, EL. She was sassy once, too.
That's right. 60 years ago when I knew her. Whew. Anyhow.
Now that's just getting creepy.
So Travis, we're going to try something new. We're going to talk about your books.
No, we're not. We're not doing that. Why are you starting new shit on episode 199?
You want to start with the self-help or the erotica? Which one you going for here?
Do you have a self-help erotica?
No, but that is a genius idea.
Right?
I'm not even kidding.
Just give me mention, but not inside the book somewhere.
Yeah. It's a short
or laminated pages at least.
Oh, that's a great idea too. Pop-up book. Don't tug on that tab too much.
Yeah, if you turn the pages more than 3 times, you're enjoying this book.
Come on, how many of us make it 3 whole pages?
Let the innuendo continue. Anybody else out there? Anybody from listener land? You got a innuendo you can throw about the erotic self-help?
Self-help, yeah. Yes.
Go ahead, Travis. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm waiting for comments here. I want to see where we're going. It's
you gotta give them a minute.
I think I already I think I already showed this one, which is the 4 books in one to create the whole story arc. And fun fact, so besides that's kind of steampunk there, Mike, if you look at that cover. But on the back, so the front cover shows you the beginning of the book, and the back cover shows you how the book ends.
I hate to say this, but I like the back cover better.
You know, there was a lot of debate on this because I was going to just use one of these, and I'm explaining that to my live stream audience as I'm completing book 4 and talking about putting the omnibus together. And then one of my regulars, she's like, just use them both. Put one on the front, one on the back. And I'm like, yeah, I do like both images. So here we go.
So, Travis, I have to ask you, because you told me this 2 years ago, and my memory is really poor, and it's probably morphed since then. But did you tell me that you have a Twitch stream where you are writing your book and people get on to watch you type?
I just wrote down in my notebook, ask about it if he has a Twitch stream.
Yeah.
Mike, we've been married too long, man. We're like finishing each other's sentences now. It's scary.
But you're a lovely couple, so. And you're like wearing double plaid. Look at you, Ro.
It's the Vermonter in me coming out. Why, Jesus?
No wonder you're about the maple whiskey.
Yeah.
So tell us about
live
your
stream.
Twitch. Yeah.
My Twitch is pretty simple, and it's done a lot of the travel with me for the podcasting also, because if there's one thing I like, it's a multi-tool. So when live streaming, when I first went into it, I wanted it to be multifunctional, not just use it for one thing, but many things. But at this point in time, it's called Travis Tavern. It's the only thing that isn't Travis I. Sivart. So if you look for me on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, it's all Travis I. Sivart. First name, middle initial, last name. Last name, same as the first, but in reverse. This is Travis Tavern. So it's like my little quiet place, and I don't get a bunch of people in there. I think the most I've ever had was like 250 people, but usually it's somewhere between 5 and 15 on average. The 250 there was a big drama thing in the steampunk cosplay world. And yeah, that's sorry, I'm reading Bo's
Mr.
comment.
Neo to you,
Yeah.
Bo.
If you knew Neo's age, it wouldn't be so Neo anymore.
So just to bring this back to a thing of a few minutes ago, will multi-tool be a chapter name in your self-help erotica?
No.
Would that be like one of the
But
chapter titles?
I've got stories about that.
Oh my. We've
You
trodden down
see-
the wrong path.
I work for a certain company, and my day job, I pick orders and box them up to ship out to people. I see some of the most interesting things I would have never thought of myself that have to do with self-help erotica.
Okay.
So anyhow, we can move on from that, or we can move into that. That is your gentleman call. I've got photos.
Like they say, anything can be if you're
That's
dangerous
brave enough.
brave
Yep.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and that's
okay.
a toothbrush. Anything could be a toothbrush if you're.
There it is.
It's for the hentai fan. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna
So
check this
other
out.
books. See, this year for the book, because of last year, I had to decide where to go this year. And I have a couple series I'd like to write some more on. And I have one series that I want to expand into 5 different series in the same world where they can interact or cross over. And I really want to write a heist story. So like a robbery heist.
Mm-hmm.
From the villain's point of view, where they all have super crappy, minimal superpowers. Like there's a guy who can talk to plants. That's it. He could just talk to them. And of course, everybody else is like, anybody could talk to a plant. He's like, but they answer me. And they're all like, so you're like Aquaman, but crappier.
Right. For whatever reason, when you just described that, the image I got in my head was the cast of Three's Company as a heist gang.
Come on, knock on my door.
For anybody who's not old enough, go look it up.
First 2 seasons are great, and then everything changed. Wait, did the first 2 seasons have Chrissy the nurse or Chrissy the ditzy? I like the nurse better. That's all.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
It was so long ago.
Came first.
Those brain cells are
Very
so
inappropriate now, by the way.
depleted.
It would be so offensive with Mr. Roper and Mr. Furley and their comments.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, probably couldn't even say that on a live stream nowadays without being banned.
I tried to watch Blazing Saddles with my nephew, and that did not go well.
Yeah. I've tried to watch it with my kids too, and they're just like aghast. It takes like 3 minutes, and they're like, "Hell no!"
Oh, that's such a shame. I got a 22-year-old kid and a 26-year-old kid, and they've both seen it, and they understand time and place.
Right.
But yeah, they find it hilarious, and as well as things like Movie 43. If you haven't seen that one, there you go. You're welcome.
Movie that sounds familiar, but not enough. How many different series and stuff do you have out right now with 44 books?
That is a good question. Now, let's just go with sci-fi and fantasy series and keep it short that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 series.
It's like Sesame Street.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do, 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 do.
Now you have to do count and count.
Do what?
1.
Okay, so count.
6 fantasy series.
It's I got the lightning flash, sort of, kind of. The disco
So
feel.
you have 6 fantasy series.
Well, that's sci-fi and fantasy series.
Sci-fi,
So
okay.
one steampunk that actually the omnibus just got published. Wait, what today? What is today? It will publish in 7 days. On April 17th, it will be available to the public. The Travelers Inn omnibus came out last month. I do have another fantasy omnibus to put out, which, by the way, I hate the word omnibus. Why can't we use collection? Who made that rule? Like,
There are no rules. It's self-publishing.
Well, yeah, but those rules were made by the big publishing houses once upon a time. Because it sounds Latin.
Omnibus sounds Latin.
No, it sounds Latin.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm just making shit up. I have no idea.
It's just going back to the Catholicism.
It sounded reasonable.
It's Latin. Nobody understands it. Let's use that. It's But Mike,
Brian,
if I can steer us in one direction, you mentioned that you have one book out and you're about to put out the second book, and I asked you, and you said it's sci-fi, but we didn't nail down which of the 50 different sci-fis it is.
It is dystopian sci-fi. It's set on Mars in 200 years in the future.
Okay.
And the
are
UN
you
was
talking about Haley?
yeah.
See, I wouldn't call that dystopian. The
Is it happy?
Well, the past events that led to where they are now was dystopian, but now they're just kind of in this strange new world, right? I don't know that they are necessarily in a dystopian world.
Well, I don't know, but like 4 genres. So I went with dystopian because that's one of the words I know.
Okay, all right. Tariff.
So in
Everybody knows that word this week.
and there we go. EL collection is a collection. Omnibus has the whole work.
Okay. Thank you.
There you go. And
So-
Cena is adding that comics are always omnibus.
Yeah, and I've seen that. I don't actually have a problem with it there, but anyhow, that's just me. We've got certain words we like and certain words we don't. And for me, I never wanted to call it, but I think about 8 years ago, there was like a rule on Amazon, if you're publishing it on Amazon, that you had to use the word omnibus or something. And I feel like I should check it now. And if that's not a rule anymore, I need to throw that word out the window for me.
So how long are the books that you write? Are they, 250,000 words? Or are they
No.
60? Or what are we talking here?
With the 6-book fantasy series, I was aiming for 60,000. And the first one came close. It's like 67. But by the time we're in the third, we're up in the 90,000 range. And it pretty much just kept getting bigger as you went.
Yeah.
So, and the same thing with the Cyberpunk series, Silver and Smith, that I'll be expanding. I've got 2 books out right now, working on book 3. I aimed for 60,000 because I wanted something fun, fast, something you could read on a commute to work. Unless you're driving, please do not read my books while you're driving. It's you're too busy texting. It would take away from that. So, but
do you do 2,000 words a day every day, just as a matter of habit? You get up at a certain time and get your words in and be done, or what?
I have in the past, and that's how I got so many books. 2024, as I said, it did weird things to me that I did not appreciate. So it's now a matter of getting back into that habit and being able to roll with that again. But also with 2024, with all the things that happened in my life, I ran up the credit cards and I need to pay them down. So I'm giving that priority for the day job, but I still get in here most nights after work and do 500 to 1,000 words. It's a 12-hour day. So if I still want to eat and do the household chores and stuff like that, I can't write for 2 hours every time. But on my days off, I can sit down for 5 or 6 hours.
So, do you do Comic Cons and sell your books?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Where do you go? Because I've never seen you.
Have you ever been to RavenCon?
Well, okay, but RavenCon, do you sell books there? It's more like an author's convention.
That's because I'm an author. That's right. And I'm trying to remember because, like you said, we were on a panel together. I'm like, what panel was it?
Maps.
Yeah, I'm not picturing where it. I don't have the mental picture in my head, and also which year, because I've been doing RavenCon since 2015, 2016, but not every year.
It was Sunday at like 2:00, so like an hour before the thing ended. So there were the 4 of us up there and 1 person in the crowd, and I think 3 more people showed up later. So we actually had an equal number of audience members as we had panel members.
Like, I think I remember, I want to say I was at the end of the table closest to the doors, and we were upstairs on the left-hand side.
Yep.
I used to do hiring for Amazon in that hotel, by the way. Fun fact. But yeah, I've done MarsCon, I've done RavenCon, I have done steampunk conventions all up down the East Coast, as far out as TeslaCon in Wisconsin. I've unrelated but tangent related. I have had a pirate band of the musical variety that has gone to Ren Fairs. I have performed in Queen Elizabeth's court at Ren Fairs as a knight. So I have done all kinds of.
Just a Renaissance man.
Well, in some cases, literally. But actually, have I done Renaissance?
What do you play?
Horribly. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm much more of an organizer that can recognize other people who have a lot more talent than me, that I could be put in the back of the group. So I'm magically, musically blanked out so you can't hear me. But I am currently learning blues, harmonica, and didgeridoo. Not at the same time.
Didgeridoo.
The didgeridoo, yeah.
Those are big at weddings.
They are. They're really, anywhere you take them, they're pretty big.
Yeah, that's good. That's one of the most annoying noises.
My wife is learning bagpipes.
Bagpipes was going to be in the top 5, but what the hell were those things a dozen years ago? The vuvuzelas or whatever the hell they were?
Vuvuzelas, yeah.
Yeah,
I have that in my erotic self-help. What the hell is a vuvuzela?
I don't think that's the way. I don't think you're spelling it right.
You spell it how you spell it. I'll spell it how I spell it.
Let's make Mike blush.
It doesn't take much. So anyway, we're going to ask an author question. Do you fight with your main characters to get them to do things you want to do when they tell you no, or are you actually in charge when you're writing?
Neither.
Okay.
For me, and I used to fight with them, and then they would derail things a little bit. What I've learned now is I like to make a plan and then allow it to go off the rails. So I make a loose outline, a very generalized outline, and I like to think of it like a dot-to-dot puzzle. I lay out the dots, and you can do a dot-to-dot puzzle, and you can make this straight line. Then your elephant will look like it's, I don't know, a cubism elephant or something. Or you could go really artistic and swirly, and then you look like, I don't know, an illuminated letter out of the Bible elephant. Or you could do something in between. So I will lay out, the 12 or 20 or however many points that I need to cover this. I need a fight here. I need this character to be able to express this so people connect with them. So once I have that kind of more of a bulleted list than an actual outline, I let them go and see where they go, where they want to go.
Okay. Have you ever been writing a book and just go, I'm kind of bored. I think I should blow something up.
Yes, absolutely. And it might not be blow something up, but I have found if as a writer, you're bored in the writing, your reader's probably not going to be too engaged at that point either. So it is time to switch it up, whether you end the chapter right there, write one more paragraph just to wrap it up and give them something to look forward to, and then switch to a different character or a different scene, or absolutely just blow something up. So now you're engaged again and you're interested and you're like, okay, I've got something to do.
Having done so many series, obviously you want to finish up one series and get on to something else to tell a new story. But do you ever feel like you really want to explore something with a particular character from a different series that you would almost like to use them again somewhere?
Yes. Yes.
You've done it, haven't you?
In Silver and Smith, there was one character who was a morally gray character, a bounty hunter that they ran across. And after I wrote about him in book 2, I'm like, I really want that guy to have his own series. I can see a lot of people look at characters like Punisher and Batman and that sort of thing, and they go, well, it's kind of a one-trick pony. He's kind of dull. But I think if you got into the psychology of why they are, and the Punisher television series, the 2 seasons on Netflix, it's now on Disney, did a really good job of climbing into his head and talking about the struggles he goes through. But besides that, he just has some cool toys to play with. And the fact that he is morally gray and entrapped by a corporation that he relies on for cybernetics, but he's got this vague past that the cybernetics wiped out part of his memory, or his memory was wiped out and the cybernetics was put in. I wanted to go down that road and find out what he's doing. So, and also in the cyberpunk world, in the first 2 books, I am introducing other elements besides straight up cyberpunk. So magic has returned to the world, and something else in book 2. So it allows me to make him into essentially a supernatural bounty hunter. So if you took, I don't know, supernatural and mixed it with a bounty hunter.
Yeah, kind of like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen guy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's and so I've got all these things I'm excited about. And there was something you asked about earlier, Ro, and we wandered off of it, and I almost wrote it down when I just thought of it 2 minutes ago.
Oh, if you're asking me what it is, I have no idea. That's not the way this brain works.
Write one book at a time or multiple.
Oh, yeah.
Let me jump back on that real quick. One at a time. But I have tried writing multiple. And you guys ever clean your house?
No.
Okay. I'm going to talk to Mike now. You know how when you're like in the kitchen, you're like, oh, let me go put this in the bedroom. And then you spend 5 minutes in the bedroom, and then suddenly you're in the bathroom because something, and now you're cleaning the bathroom, and now you're cleaning 5 rooms. And eventually you're like, I ain't getting anything. Go to one room, finish it. If you got stuff, make a pile, or just put it just over the threshold of whatever room it goes into. You're not allowed to go in there and start working. That's how it is with the books. I have found if I don't focus on the one, thank you, Tobias. If you don't focus on the one thing, you're not going to get it done. So I allow myself to take all the notes I want about any other book I want to write. And I have digital documents. I carry a reporter's notebook. By the way, you got a moment? I'll talk about my religion. So a reporter's notebook.
Those are great. Yeah.
I love these things, man. I just saw the dragon. Which dragon? Oh, that dragon. There you go. It's Rose Dragon. But yeah, the way they fit in my hand, the way I can write. unlike a steno pad that doesn't fit in the pocket. But yeah, I'll take all the notes I want, but I will only allow myself to write one book at a time.
All right, we're coming up on the part of the show now, Travis, where we ask you a couple of questions that we ask every guest.
Awesome.
And your answer will make Mike feel bad because almost every guest picks the answer that Mike doesn't want them to pick. And we'll just see how it goes. So I'll start.
Okay.
Are you a fan at all of Harry Potter?
All of Harry Potter? Like even the
are
stage
you
play?
a fan at all of Harry Potter?
I enjoy Harry Potter. I've read the books. I'm rereading the audiobooks at work. And
who is the hero of the Harry Potter series?
So I'm guessing the correct answer is not the one who's in the title of every book.
That would be correct. We've had a variety of different answers on this.
Here's what I'm going to say. As a writer, the reader gets to pick who their character is, who they follow, who they love, who they adore. You ask my wife, it is, but I've had people come at me with my characters going, are they this? Are they that? And I'm like, what are they in your head? Well, I think, and I went, then there you go. Because it's beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And that house elf, Dobby, that's the hero of the books, according to my wife.
That is not an answer I'd heard before, but you know what? I will accept that.
I'll let my wife know you accepted her answer.
So
Cinna is correct, however. It is Severus Snape.
So now we get to my question, and please answer this correctly, because Roe lords it over me that everyone gets it wrong.
There is no pressure in this. I love it. Go on.
They don't get it wrong. You have it wrong.
So
they're fine.
That's just not possible. So anyway, imagine this. You're in the saddle, and you are flying. You are going down the main street of your city. Now, you can either be in a saddle on a griffin or on a T-Rex. Which one do you choose?
Griffin.
Oh, you're wrong. Terribly wrong.
No, not even a hesitation, Mike. Just Griffin. Like 95% of the people who answer this question. No,
Griffin's Chase was the name of my kingdom. Okay. Once upon a time, I wanted to join the SCA. And every time I went to one of their little events, anybody who doesn't know what that is, Society of Creative Anachronism. So like the people that do Ren fairs, not at Ren fairs, but anywhere else. And they were all just very cliquish. So I went, you know what? I'll just make up my own little group. We'll get a little local group together. Screw the SCA. 9 months later, we have members in like 7 different countries. And people went, well, you should, be the king. And I'm like, I don't want to be the king. I want to show up and eat a picnic and watch idiots hit each other with weapons. This is what I want to do. And they're like, oh, no. So I had to come up with a kingdom. And it was Griffin's Chase.
Okay.
So, Griffin. And so also, T-Rex are known for eating me in my bad dreams. Never had a Griffin attack me in my bad dreams. Ever.
See, I just think of me being on the saddle with a T-Rex, and they can pick cars up, all the bad drivers, and just take the whole car and just throw them into a building.
How? Their arms are so teeny. They're just like car.
Mouth. No, the mouth. Oh. He's going to use the mouth. The arms are no good for anything.
Well, they are good for one thing. I'll tell you about that book later.
Yep, I'll leave it alone. Are you a Trek fan at all?
I enjoy Trek.
Uh-oh.
So,
go ahead.
Best, worst captain of Star Trek.
Oh. Best and worst, huh? This is a toughie. Because they all had to, okay, oh, that's tricky. I almost want to say Kirk is the worst. Original series Kirk. totally irresponsible. The latest movies, not as. Best, that is so tough. That is so tough because Janeway was put into a very rough situation. But Picard had a gravitas to him. But here's one that's often underlooked. Siskel.
Cisco was fantastic. He's
yeah.
my favorite. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And he's often overlooked as a Star Trek captain. And I can't even, okay, I guess, I don't know. Is she one of the worst captains? You have watched
Janeway?
Lower Decks. No, Lower Decks.
I've never actually seen Lower Decks. It's a cartoon. I don't count it.
No, Row. Really. Go check it out.
Is it good? Okay.
Take Next Generations, move it forward a couple years, and they hero worship all the other series. So it's a lot of comedy, but it also has some of the best season-long story arcs that I've seen on Star Trek.
Have you watched The Orville?
Yes, really enjoyed season 1 and season 2. Season 3, it felt like they were just really pandering to public issues a lot, to the point where it no longer became enjoyable.
All right, so Mike and I do this. Go ahead,
I'm sorry,
Mike.
I just wanted to answer EL real quick. You're absolutely correct with, he made the franchise, but that doesn't make him a good captain. Just because he slept with everything that moved and a few things that weren't moving.
Oh, Cindy, you're all right. You can have whatever opinions you want here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's
carry on.
So, Mike, do you want to bring us home?
Sure. So, what we like to do with our guests, because they normally don't have 44 books, is we tell them to pick a main character from their book.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to learn more about this character, but we don't want spoilers. So this person is going to be magically transported to somewhere else. The laws of your world will still hold sway, but they'll go somewhere that's totally outside of what you've written. And then they will have an interaction with an adversary and will ask you to tell us the story and tell us how it ends. So you need to pick a character and tell us who it is.
I guess we could go with Jack Tucker. He's the one that threads through all the books to tie them together.
Does he have any superpowers, magic, animals, sidekicks, anything like that?
Portals.
Portals?
He can travel through time and space.
Okay, well, the portals are going to not work in this.
Okay.
He's going to have a portal that takes him there, but then the batteries are going to die.
We could just go with a different character. Let's go with Silver from Silver and Smith. Okay.
What's Silver like? Male or female?
He is male. He is middle-aged black man who's considering the year, probably trillionaire. But he also runs around the globe collecting ancient artifacts that often have ties to some sort of magical thing. Imagine Indiana Jones meets Blade Runner.
Okay. I've seen Indiana Jones.
Yay!
So I'm going to roll a bunch of dice.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Mike, give me a D20, will
you? Your D20 is 11. And just so you know, Travis, if you ask me to roll to see what happens, I will not roll higher than an 11 ever. So just God. Keep that in mind.
He sucks, Travis.
Challenge accepted.
Absolutely horrible.
Okay, Travis. So Silver has been transported to a ruined battlefield haunted by the ghost of fallen warriors.
One ghost of multiple warriors?
Multiple ghosts of multiple warriors.
Oh, gotcha. Go on. Okay.
So now he gets a choice. He can choose a common item or a weapon. If he chooses a common item, he will face a common animal. If he chooses a weapon, he will face a fantasy creature. Which one is his jam?
His jam is normally either a Glock or blades.
So does he want a common item or does he want a weapon?
So like a common item would be like a bowl of spaghetti? What are we talking here?
That kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
but
we're going with...
He would face an animal as opposed to a fantasy creature. So you get a weapon, you face something bigger.
Oh, so it gets bigger with the weapon. See, I love the fantasy creature thing, but I love the common item thing. Can we do a common item with a fantasy creature?
Sure.
Okay.
So, Silver has gone to this battlefield with the many ghosts of fallen warriors, and he has at his side he has a fizzy potion. What is your favorite color?
Blue.
He has a blue fizzy potion, and I will tell you it is 100% effective, whether he uses it on himself or his adversary, but you have no idea what it does.
Okay.
And then his other item that he has is an anvil.
An anvil. How many pounds is that anvil, please?
It is 40 pounds.
40
Does
pounds.
Does it say Acme on the side?
Of course it does. It better. So about the size of a soccer ball, but not round, just in width.
Right.
I don't know how many people have had anvils for size reference. I have an anvil in the other room.
You just happen to have an anvil in the other room.
It's only like a 15-pound anvil, though, so it's not a big one.
Okay.
So I will actually give you your choice. He can either you can choose the adversary, which we don't ever normally do, but he can either face a silverback gorilla or a ghoul.
Or
with a potion and an anvil.
Yes.
Wait, a silverback gorilla or what?
A ghoul.
Oh.
Now, is that a fantasy ghoul or an Indian ghoul? Because the spelling is totally different.
Fantasy.
We're going to go with the ghoul.
Okay. So he is on this battlefield looking for some relic, magical relic, which he is frustrated because he cannot find.
Right.
And he's sort of poking in the big pile of dead bodies. And then he sort of goes over a little bit and he thinks he sees something. So he looks again. And lo and behold, as he's carrying his anvil for reasons unknown and his potion in a glass vial, which is a great combination, he happens to see a ghoul that is also on the battlefield, and their eyes meet. What happens next? Take us home.
Well, they'd probably stare longingly at each other. He's a very charming fellow. But I don't know if we're talking about a feral ghoul or an intelligent ghoul. I'm guessing feral, yeah?
Feral. Let's go.
Like
feral.
Angry, like, hey, I want to stare at you lovingly, but it's because I lovingly want to tear your flesh off and have a light snack.
Yes.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's happening next is, and your ghouls are fast runners, right?
Yes.
With above animal intelligence. Okay.
Until Mike rolls for it. Yeah.
What season is it?
Most of the battles happen in the summer, so I'm going to go summer. That's the campaign season, so.
Great. Okay. Well, Silver is definitely going to draw him out and take him on a wild goose chase. He's going to be looking for the right headstone that he needs, and he's going to make sure he has his anvil on him. And he'll keep circling back to it each time, bringing more dead leaves, flowers on graves, whatever he could find that might be able to be used as tinder.
Okay.
And then using that anvil against that headstone to create a spark. As the ghoul approaches, he will attempt to get that ghoul caught in that small bonfire that he's going to attempt to make.
Ro, I'm glad you're sitting. I rolled a 20.
No.
Yes, I really did.
What were you rolling for?
To see if the ghoul was going to be in the fire or not.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
So, he
told you challenge accepted, Ro.
Yeah.
I mean, if you rolled a 20, he just dove toward it.
He just,
like he likes fire.
Paper that just, burns and nothing's left.
Now,
that's
the question I have, are ghouls flammable or are they made of like dryer sheets?
They're made of tortilla chips, definitely flammable.
Okay.
Yeah. Tortilla chips are, if you're ever camping, highly flammable.
Dryer sheets are as well.
Oh,
they're also cheddar cheese flavored, by the way.
Oh.
Dryer sheets?
No, the ghoul.
Okay.
Man, come on. Why don't they make food-flavored candles that are more than cake? Why can't you get like a steak and potato scented candle or dryer sheet? so you can walk around smelling like a pizza or something.
Apparently, Tide Pods tasted like blueberry pie. Who knew?
I knew.
So,
But we're not going
I
to
will-
talk about that, are we?
I
No,
will
that would
tell
be
you that
dumb.
I actually have a candle that is space scented because, of course, I do.
And
So wait a minute. Isn't a ghoul an undead creature?
Yes.
What would fire do to it?
Burn it.
It's dead.
Rose never played any
It's
tabletop role playing game, has he?
I've just never. I have a long time ago. I didn't think you could kill a ghoul with fire.
Fire is the classic go-to death thing for any undead ever.
Okay.
Or you can stab it with the anvil.
I had to use the anvil to light the fire against that headstone. But what I will do is definitely try to throw it into the ghoul's kneecap to break its damn leg so it stays on the fire and doesn't run out of it and come at me a huge, flaming, angry, dead thing. Also, Ro, I picture ghouls as more like ooey gooey, not like dried and desiccated.
I picture them as ghosts.
Oh no, they're a physical being. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell do I know? Yeah, okay. I'm just.
Rose sounds like
Gotcha.
he'd be great to play a tabletop game with because he doesn't know everything because he hasn't been doing it for decades. So
No. You're wrong. I have never played, and Roe
Mike has
played
never
for
played.
decades. But he was
okay.
in the military, and he was probably drunk the whole time.
Yeah. Give me
Actually,
a bottle of
there's probably about.
Jägermeister and I'll play D&D.
We all live relatively close to each other. I've got a local group I'll set you up with.
All right, there we go.
Oh.
All right, so you have so many books.
Oh, are we back to that?
Yeah, we are kind of wrapping it up. Where can people find you at TravisSivart.com, which has been
Yep.
rolling across the screen now for an hour?
Yep. So again, it's first name, last name. Last name is the same as the first, but in reverse. And you can also find me at TravisISivart.com because I said all my social media, including website, has that also. And then if you just Google my name, you're going to find me on Barnes & Noble. You're going to find me on Books A Million, Amazon. You can even find me at Walmart, your local libraries. If you have the Hoopla app, my audiobooks are on there and all the other places, Audible, audiobooks.com. I do narrate my own audiobooks, so if you find my voice totally annoying, avoid the audiobooks because they sound just like me. So,
That makes sense.
Kooky
So,
that
do
way.
you do other people's books, or do you keep yourself fully employed as a narrator?
I have done one other person's book, and she wants me to narrate the rest of the series. I think she's on book 4, but she's really interested in these 2 other series she's writing right now. So she's focusing her money on that instead of this. And I'm like, I'll do it just because you're a friend. And she's like, no, I'll pay you, and you're not going to get to record anything until. Yeah, EL, back here behind me, there is a curtain, and my recording booth is in there. And when I say booth, it is like the size of one of the old phone booths, maybe a little smaller. It is a tight fit, but oh, thank you, Sina. I appreciate that.
Your pod thingy.
My Tide Pod thingy tastes like blueberry muffins, right?
Don't you have like a half a dozen pod thingies?
I do. If you you can find those on Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the places, but all my things in one place is at TravisSivart.com. And there you can find the audiobooks too. Just look around. And
Yep. So Cena, she does almost exclusively audiobook, and I forget the commute she has because she's out there in one of the western states. Let me think. I'm going to go with South Dakota. And I think I'm wrong. But anyway, she's out there and she has a long commute, and she goes through audiobooks like nobody's business.
I have 10-hour shifts at work, so I go through a lot of them. Which book should we start with? Audiobook or actual reading the book? Yeah, let me know that because I haven't got all the audiobooks done yet. It's something I need to work on this year. Wyoming.
EL is correcting us. It's Wyoming that she's from.
It's one of the big square states. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
Colorado.
Nope. Colorado. There you go.
They all
It's
look the same.
my brother lives in Colorado. It's by the way, Senna, if you like audiobooks, there is a lit RPG series out there, which is literary role-playing game. And I've listened to a lot of lit RPG, and rarely do I get past book one because it's like fantasy in the 80s. You had a couple good ones and a lot of stuff that just But check out Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinneman and get the audiobook. The audiobook, Dungeon Crawler Carl, then Cinna. Jeff Hayes does it, and he does a full cast of voices all by himself. Yep. It's incredible and entertaining and emotional. Now I see you guys nodding. Have you listened to this?
Yes, I haven't listened to the last book that just came out yet, but I've done the first 5 or 6, whatever we're on.
Yeah, it's just so much better than your average lit RPG, in my humble opinion. And my wife and I, we listen to the audiobooks together driving into work because we work at the same place. So, yeah.
So I will tell you, Travis, you should check out Darktown by Palmer Pickering. That's a lit RPG. It's kind of cozy because if you you go into the tavern, you enter the maze, and if you kill the maze, they just send you back to the tavern where you were in, and then you have to start all over from the beginning or go on with your life.
Okay.
But Palmer Pickering is her name. Darktown is the name of the book.
Spell Pickering?
Yeah. Pickering.
Oh, okay. Like Colonel Pickering from My Fair Lady.
Sure.
It's a musical from the 60s. Anyhow, we'll move on. See, Mimic and Me, I didn't enjoy it as much, Cinna. But that's a whole nother topic. I Mike, please carry on.
I just tell you, you should try Darktown. It's wonderful. Palmer is one of those people. She's written Darktown as the first book in her lit RPG series. She wrote an 800-page standalone epic fantasy series, and she wrote a sci-fantasy series. She can just write whatever she wants, and she always enters in contests and is always a semifinalist or better.
Nice.
So she's just a wonderful person, and she is. Are you going to Worldcon by any chance in August?
No. Okay. But I am going to NecoCon end of October, beginning of November. That's in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Yep. NecoCon. Interesting. Yeah. But
right, gentlemen, I think we're at that time we have to do this.
Wait, you didn't tell EL where to start.
Oh, right. We didn't establish.
Let's call it audio, seeing how he didn't answer.
You know what? Start with the Travelers Inn. Book 1 is called, I put it out, last year, so I actually got to look. Tangled Skein. It is light, fun, fast. The books are short, about half the size of my usual novels, but put together, they make a nice thing. Get the omnibus, better for that price anyway. And I will definitely be turning that into an audiobook because that is too much fun for me not to read out loud for people. Oh, look for the Travelers Inn podcast. You can essentially hear book 1 done as a podcast. So the quality isn't perfect, and I will be re-recording it for audiobooks. But yeah, the Travelers Inn.
And Ro, we got the one question I told you had to remind me, which is Travis. Can you please give us the name of 3 people? They can be friends or enemies, depending on how you like the show. 3 people we should contact that we should interview on this show.
It was the top of my list, and the only one I haven't checked off as having asked yet, and I totally forgot it.
Do I have to know him and be able to put you in contact with him?
That would be possible, but not necessarily.
Okay, well, first thing I'm going to say, if you can get Matt Dinneman and Jeff Hayes on here, who is the author of Dungeon Crawler Carl and the voice narrator, Give that a shot. They were actually just in Williamsburg last weekend, by the way, and I didn't know. They're at Scares for Care. Cares of Scare, whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
But other than that, check out Tara Moeller, the Dreamer-in-Chief of Dreampunk Press. Let me recommend Rachel Morley, who is starting her Kickstarter in about a month for her third series. And she writes a lot of fantasy. And who would I like to recommend? You know what? Here in Virginia, we got a gentleman who is in his mid-20s who has done a couple of great books. He's been writing since he was in middle school, including illustrating his own comic books. His name is Michael Thompson. He wrote World of the Orb, Chicken Boy, and his latest series is, oh, you can check it out on audiobook too. And I can't remember the damn name of the series. But I can give you direct contact for all three of those last ones.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Because we have not interviewed any of them. And honestly, I don't know that I've heard of any of them before. So this is wonderful. We can actually abuse strangers.
Absolutely.
All right. And thank you very much, Travis. For anybody still out there with us, Mike and I will be back on April 15th, Tax Day here in the U.S.
Ugh.
That is next Tuesday with Reed Logan at 8 p.m. So again, it's at 8, not 7. And Reed has the dubious distinction of being our 200th episode.
Nice.
So
congratulations, gentlemen, by the way.
We have just not been paying any attention at all to that. I just have a list, and you're number 199. But Tom Brady was 199, so that's not that bad.
Really? I thought he was heavier.
Okay.
On that note,
yes. Now it is time for us to all wave awkwardly as we say goodbye.
Thanks all for joining us. Have a good evening.